What is a federal grand jury? Many federal cases start out with an indictment, and even those that don't start out with an indictment, they might start out with a complaint and then later end up with an indictment. So how is an indictment found? What is an indictment? Basically, an indictment is returned after a grand jury hears evidence from the prosecutor and decides that there's enough to charge you. So a grand jury in federal court is made up of between 16 and 23 people from the community, and they hear evidence. It's one-sided, so they hear from the prosecutor. The prosecutor will call witnesses. It might be federal agents. It might be civilian witnesses. They might also get documentation. And at the end of the presentation, the grand jury will vote. If the grand jury finds that there's enough evidence to charge you, they will return the indictment and you will be officially indicted. So at this grand jury hearing, you as the defendant will not likely be subpoenaed. I've had cases where that happens, but usually you will not be subpoenaed to the grand jury. And if you are, you will be notified that you're the target. And if you are the target, you should have a defense attorney, and your defense attorney would probably tell you it's not a good idea to go testify. Obviously, it depends on the facts, but I would say 99% of the time, defense attorneys would tell a target not to go in and speak with a grand jury because you are already being looked at for criminal liability. And unless you've got some incredible set of circumstances that just outweigh the vast likelihood that this is a bad idea, well, that'll be up for your attorney to decide. Even if you're just a witness, even if you're not the target, it's still a good idea if you're subpoenaed to a grand jury to consult with an attorney. There still might be the possibility that you would have a Fifth Amendment right not to testify. Or even if that's not true, you might not know how to say certain things. Of course, you have to tell the truth if you go in front of the grand jury, but it can be intimidating. How to answer a question, even if you're telling the truth, or what to say, or what's relevant, how to respond to certain questions you just don't understand. You have a right to have an attorney, but the attorney cannot go into the grand jury room. So in federal court grand jury process, the defense attorney that you hire would be outside of the room. You would be in the room with the prosecutor and the grand jurors, but you would have a right to consult as much as you want with that attorney. So if you need to go out and take breaks every so often, or even every question, you have a right to consult with your attorney. And then you'd have to go back into the grand jury room and resume. At the end of the grand jury presentation, they do a vote, and if they decide there's enough evidence to charge the person who is the target of the investigation, they will return the indictment, and then the person is formally indicted.